Welcome to For the Aesthetic. My name is Tendani Mulaudzi, and I am a journalist and writer and host of this beautiful podcast. I started this podcast and I named it For the Aesthetic because if you know me, I love to do everything for the aesthetic. You'll see my pink diary on the table, my pink cup. Like I'll go to a coffee shop and just sit with my MacBook specifically for the aesthetic, which is, I know it sounds very snobbish, but I'm just all for the aesthetic, you know? And so I've decided to get some guests, always a friend in my life who also probably low-key does things for the aesthetic, even though they might not admit it. But I feel like we all have for the aesthetic somewhere in us. And today I have the beautiful Dee. Welcome, Dee. Welcome to the podcast. It's so lovely to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Do you want to just tell the peeps about yourself?
Hello, I am Litsoanelo, otherwise known as Dee. I am a mom. That's my favorite title. I'm a law student. I'm in my third year. I'm a retired chef because I'm changing over to law. And I'm Tenza's friend.
Yeah. We've been friends since we were 13, turning 14. We were at boarding school together. I left after the first year because I like to run away from my problems, but we've maintained contact since then. I mean, on and off, but for the most part, we've still been in each other's lives. Dee, tell the people what you do for the aesthetic.
I do a lot of things for the aesthetic.
I knew it.
Like you said, the MacBook.
Yeah.
I love going to very aesthetic looking coffee shops specifically.
Yeah.
And I will make sure to snap an Instagram story while I'm there.
Just working.
Yeah, just working. You know,
at this random coffee shop that means nothing.
To study outside of my home.
Yeah, no, for sure.
What else do I do for the aesthetic?
You definitely do study notes for the aesthetic.
No ways.
What? You don't think you do study notes for the aesthetic?
No.
But they're so aesthetically pleasing.
Thank you. Maybe that's just who I am.
Maybe it's within you.
Yeah.
I used to do that when I was in uni. I would always have to have fine liners, like the colored fine liners. And I would waste so much time writing my notes because they were too pretty. And then I would have to cram the rest of the things I didn't make notes for. Before.
Maybe you're right, because that's what happens to me. Is like I didn't do a specific learning unit because
it just didn't come up. But you still ace it, so it's okay.
I hope
it works for you. What do you mean you hope?
Well, I just wrote last week, so I haven't gotten marks back.
But you've done this many a time, and you always do so well. Okay, lovely. I love that for you. So how's studying going? How's balancing life going with being a mommy and then also studying and just lifing, generally speaking?
Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah, you can swear. You can swear. It's my podcast. You can swear.
It's a shit show.
It's a shit show.
It's a shit show, specifically this year, because my life has changed in many ways. So in first year, we had take-home tests and take-home exams, which sounds easy, but they were actually quite difficult.
Sure.
And also like strenuous time-wise. Second year was fine. I think second year was a breeze for some reason. And now this year is like, my child is like growing up. He's 5 now and...
Can't believe he's 5, hey?
I need to cook. Cannot clean because I have somebody who does that for me. But then like pay attention to him and study, because I've got this goal of I want to graduate cum laude.
Sure.
So, yeah, but...
It's a 4-year degree, right?
Yeah, it's a 4-year
So you only have this year and next year left.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy because I think you're just a really beautiful example of why people should start something even if they deem it late. Because people will say, oh, it's too late for me to study a 4-year degree. I'm too old. By the time I finish, I'll be 36 or whatever it might be, right? But you've done this and you're almost done. You're halfway through. You're over halfway.
Yeah. But there's a lady I follow on Instagram, an American lady. She's, I think, in her late 50s, early 60s. And she's doing a medical degree. I don't know what she was doing before. So for me, it's like, okay, you're going to be 36 anyways.
Yeah.
You may as well be 36 with a law degree.
With a law degree. Yeah. I love that. I'm thinking of studying social work, by the way.
Just really?
Little side.
That'd be great. I'll be like the family lawyer, and then you'll be the social.
Yes, we work together. Oh my goodness!
If I need a social lawyer on my case,
it's a plan.
It'll be you.
But I just need to find the motivation to sign up for a 4-year degree. But I think that's where my heart is leaning, towards that.
Makes sense,
So, I mean, we didn't even start with this, but because we're actual friends and like this stuff doesn't matter as much as it might matter to the next person. But your married at first sight experience, let's talk about that. Did you do married at first sight for the aesthetic?
No. Well, yes and no. Let me tell you why. Because when I got asked, I didn't get asked to be on Married at First Sight. It was sort of like, hey, do you know anybody that's keen to be on Married at First Sight? And then I jokingly said, I don't, but I'm single. And then this person was like, oh, you've been on television before. Actually, that's such a great idea.
Yes. Tell us about the television that you were on before.
Oh, before Married at First Sight, I was on Taste Master. I don't remember which season, but we shot in 2022, I think.
Okay. Lovely.
And yeah, that was cutesy, I think. It's
very, very cute.
Yeah. I mean, I loved winning those prizes that I got. The dishwasher. I got a dishwasher and I got a new KitchenAid. So now I've got 2 KitchenAids and a dishwasher.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, makes my life so much easier.
It really does.
So then this person was like, okay, cool, you've been on TV before, come through. And then his selling point, I think, he said to me, like, listen, even if you don't necessarily want to do this for like the person that you will meet, just do it for the vacation. And it was worth the vacation, let me tell you. That vacation was nice. It was like, I don't know, it was like this villa that was in like a forest.
Wow.
And if you check the prices online, it's
you wouldn't
quite steep.
necessarily be able to afford
No, I would
that
not be able to on a regular day. So that was nice. The apartment we lived in was nice. It was in Sandton, like Morningside area.
Yes.
Being chauffeured around was nice.
That was very
Having
nice.
a makeup artist all the time, that was nice.
Every day.
Every
single day. Yeah,
every day when we were shooting, there's a makeup artist. Having a stylist, it's nice. I felt like, I could get used to this life.
This should be my everyday.
This should be my everyday life. But actually, like, that's how I feel now. Like,
yeah, I get you.
Especially now that you're asking me like about mothering and student life and whatever. I'm like, I should have a chef. I should have an au pair. I should have a freaking, I don't know, a masseuse that comes to my home.
Listen, and I know maybe it sounds basic, guys, but it really isn't. Because these things are so necessary to keep ourselves afloat sometimes.
No, they are. I used to au pair, so I know like how useful it is to have one.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
I've also done the au pairing life.
Yeah.
Just like
it's easy money. Easy
money when you're a student, but I did au pair as a 30-year-old, and that was really like
I did too.
Humbling.
Well, I wasn't 30, but it was like 28, 27.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
While everyone was at their corporate jobs, I was same. Lifting the kids, dropping them at the school that was opposite my school and trying to prepare them for real life by saying, I know that I went to a good school and I'm an au pair now, but this is actually what life does to you sometimes. Sometimes we are humbled. After the private school life.
That felt like we had au pairs all the time.
And then tell us about your mental health and all of the things that I know you go through. I struggle with my mental health and I am on medication, and I'm a very, very big advocate for just doing what is necessary to keep ourselves afloat. And this is something that Dee and I talk about and have bonded over. So
right now, what is the state of my mental health right now? Yeah, it's okay. It's like living on a prayer.
living on a prayer.
It's all right. It's okay. It's like, I don't want to say like it's shaky because it's really not. There are times when I feel like panicky, like anxious, like in the morning, as soon as I wake up, I'm anxious. Then I have to remind myself there's nothing to be anxious about.
Sure.
You know, like if I'm late for class, I'm late for class. But then, like I said, this past week I was writing and my test was at 8 a.m. because they hate us and they want us to die. So then I have to that's early. And then I have to drop my child off at school and not be late for my test. Otherwise, I get a 0. But my mental health is doing fine. I think, like, you know what? Living on antidepressants is fine. And people are like, oh, what if you get addicted to it? I'm like, it's not cocaine, Sarah. Okay? It's fine. I'm not going to, like, ruin my life from 100%. Taking an antidepressant every day. Yeah, and it's been helpful. I think, like, right now, because, like I said, my life is a shit show right now. If I wasn't on the antidepressants and if I wasn't in therapy and seeing my psychiatrist as well, the stuff that's been happening would have derailed me, you know.
Sure. I get that.
Because there were days when, like maybe a week before tests, where I didn't want to get out of bed, even though I know, like, if you got to get up and you have to go study. But because, like, I'm also have been through worse. Like, oh, chill. This is just a little puddle.
You just have to have like a reality check.
Yes.
And like, remember what is actually happening versus how you're feeling about it.
Yes. Yeah. You know, so I'm fine. I've just adopted the strategy of, if it's not working for me, cut it.
Yeah. Okay. So there's no negotiation or, you know, people pleasing in that.
They might be because, like, we're human, right? So I also don't want to seem like the person that just doesn't give people chances or whatever. I will try and, like, okay, cool, like, let's compromise here and there. But if I can see that the compromise is going to end up biting me in the ass, then I'm not. Jesus, I didn't come to the earth to die on a cross for your sins.
100%.
So sorry.
So sorry. But
I'm not sacrificing myself for you.
But that is what it is. It's a sacrifice, you know. And as someone who also struggles with mental health, I've also had to be really very clear about what I can allow and what I actually just can't due to, you know, my mental health and my recovery and all of that. So I get that completely.
Yeah, it makes me seem like a harsh person, but, like, now I don't care, you know, because I have to put myself first. I have to put myself first. I also have to put my child first. So,
And you know what they say? Well, Oprah apparently said this.
What did she say?
She said no is a complete sentence, you know? So we love to over-explain the reasons why we have to put in these boundaries and, you know, make the person feel better about it. But at the end of the day, we're not, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? We're not, it's not necessary for us to have to always explain why these boundaries are being put into place, especially if a person already knows. And you're like, this is the 5th time I'm telling you.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So I've seen it in dating as well, because now I've opened myself up to dating. And I'm very, like, there are things that I cannot compromise on. And I'm seeing it very quickly in men, you know, like men who want to move too fast, men who have different priorities, that sort of thing. And I'm actually at a place where I don't care if I look like a bitch. but I'm going to be like, sorry, this is not for me. Whereas before, and it's like me comparing how I dated before and now, before I'd be like, oh, it's fine. I'll compromise my values for this person until I feel resentful and just like really, really broken because I'm trying to be someone I'm not for a person who actually doesn't care about me that much, you know? How's your dating going? Miss Married at First Sight?
Divorced at the first time.
Oh, gosh.
In the dustbin, in the trash.
In the trash.
Yeah, that's done with.
Okay.
Now I'm back to being a real misandrist. Like, if you thought I was a misandrist before, think again.
You're getting the I Hate Men books. There are books like that, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll send you one that I saw. Okay, so now you're in your proper misandrist era.
Yeah,
and how's that going? How are you feeling about everything? Like
what?
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah,
I'm okay. I'm fine. Like I said, I don't have time to, there's no wiggle room for weird vibes and stuff or things that don't align with me, rather.
Sure.
And yeah, I just really, now I think, my child's father.
Yes.
That was a shit show.
Yeah.
This one was a double shit show. Dumpster, fire, train wreck.
We live and we learn. That's all I gotta say.
So, now I'm at the point where I'm just like, I understand why, since my mother has been divorced, she never invited a man into her life again.
My mom too. Our moms are actually the same. And my mom got
to say that.
Yeah, exactly. My mom got divorced when I was 2. So that's 30 years of no dating.
Really?
30 years. And she's so independent. And when I was young, I would be like, oh, I wish my mom would find someone because I can't imagine how lonely she is. And then it would also help with me feeling like I was her like one and only thing that she could depend on. But now I see that she's actually happy with it and I can see why. Like,
have you ever asked her, like, hey, like now in adulthood, have you asked her, like, hey, why aren't you dating? Or...
I should actually ask her. I know why she didn't date when I was young, and that was because she didn't want a man coming into my life and perhaps not prioritizing me or putting me in unsafe situations.
Okay, yeah, fair.
But now it's a completely different story.
Okay.
And your mom? Has she told you why?
Yeah, she told me why. She said that she doesn't want to have to report to anybody and she doesn't want to share her money. And that's valid.
So valid.
She's valid.
I
feel like I'm the same. I'm like, I don't want to have to report to anyone. When I'm finished putting my child to sleep, I don't want to see a man standing in my kitchen.
Doing what in your kitchen?
Waiting to be served a plate of food. I don't want to see that.
Wow, yeah, that would be a different story if he was like, yeah, eat.
No.
You've had a hard day. Come, sit and enjoy your food. No.
Get out of my house. Even if you're giving me a plate, like I can put myself a plate of food
out of my house. I don't care why
I don't care why you're here. Just get out. And like now, my child's not here. He's with my mom. Imagine I go home to a man instead of a quiet house.
Yeah. I feel you.
No.
I feel you.
No. And, I'm working towards being a lawyer and I'm going to be a very successful one. That makes lots of money.
Really well.
So why would I want to share my money with a man?
And no, I feel you on this one. Yeah. And also the whole thing of, some men being intimidated by women with strong careers and money. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky line to toe. Because I'm actually realizing how many men have very traditional views of women and gender roles.
It's not traditional, it's archaic.
Okay, archaic, yes. 100%. Archaic. And how they really
And that's what my psychiatrist said, by the way. She's the one that said.
And psychiatrist?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Nice. Love her.
Yes, it's a her. Always.
I'm going to a woman's I shouldn't say that because my current psychiatrist, I love him so much. But anyway, I am going to a different psychiatrist because I want to see if I have ADHD.
I should ask mine up.
And I want to go to a specialist psychiatrist to, you know, if I don't have it, then it's cool. But I want to know if I do because I do have signs and symptoms. And this is not because of TikTok. So literally, I know people are picking up ADHD in themselves left, right, and center because of TikTok. But honestly, because of like my issues with substances and concentration and just being generally forgetful. And I think because I've masked many things in my life, like my anxiety, I might have masked ADHD. So anyway, just side rant on that. Are you diagnosed with ADHD?
I asked my psychologist. She just like sort of like, she was like, you have traits.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't necessarily say I do have ADHD. But I want to ask my psychiatrist.
Yes. Yeah.
She would be better equipped to tell me 100%.
That. Yeah. I think they also don't want to like give diagnoses just based on the few traits as a psychologist because it's not, you know, it's not her field specifically. Yes, so maybe she's just trying to like be cautious there.
Yeah.
Okay, so no men in the kitchen, no men in the house. And how is our little Zion doing?
He's so good. He's amazing. He is with my mom, and I've started applying to big school for him.
Isn't he old for that? Don't you have to start applying when he's like 3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
In the womb?
Yes, if you're sending him to these private schools.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah.
But he's going to one of the newer private schools, not the older ones.
Okay, nice.
So
it's not as hectic.
No, it's not as hectic. Yeah, I think because I've already started looking at high schools.
Wow.
And I'm looking at one where my brother went to school.
Oh, yes. Okay, sure.
So I will have to probably apply early.
Now.
But
at least you have an in.
Yeah, I have an in because he is.
Exactly. Because they like alumni, like family members and all of that.
Yeah. So he's really good. He's very smart. What do people call it? Hyperlexic. Yeah, he's reading like a genius.
Yes. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. He is your son.
I know, right? I know. So smart. Like making lots of friends, very independent now, can go play outside for hours with his friends.
Cute.
Leaves me to nap if I want to nap or study if I'm studying. Very, very, very helpful too.
He's going to have to get used to the only child life since you don't want any more kids.
No, I don't want any more children. Yeah. Like, if you see me pregnant, push me down the stairs.
I don't know if I could do that, but I will have a talk with you. I
never, ever want to be pregnant again, ever.
Is it the pregnancy or the child? Like,
it's both.
It's both. Obviously, the child is a result of the pregnancy. Like you can't do one without the other.
Like, I had a fairly easy pregnancy with Zion, right? Except in the end, when he was almost a dead baby. Towards the end, I was like waddling and couldn't sleep. I had to sleep sitting up like this because the acid reflux was so bad.
Oh, hectic. Okay.
And when you're turning around in the bed, you're like a beached whale. It's just not fun. It's not fun. And then recovering from a C-section, whether you gave birth vaginally or via C-section, it's all hell. All of it is hell.
Yeah, sure. Either way.
Breastfeeding is hell. It's torture.
I've heard that breastfeeding is really difficult.
Bad. Not just difficult, but painful.
Yeah, painful as well.
Like, that's terrible. Newborn cries, traumatic. No, I don't want to hear that noise. They're cute. I really like toddlers, like from age 1.
Okay.
Upwards.
Yeah.
If I could.
Newborns are
not nice.
I don't know what to do with a newborn. Like, if someone
firstly, they're boring. Like,
where's your personality?
Why do you just cry all the time? Use your words. Yeah, they're boring. They sleep all the time. They
Or cry.
Or cry all the time. Or they don't sleep. Yeah. No more children for me. Thank you.
I love that.
I've also been considering like just what is it called? A hysterectomy, getting a hysterectomy.
That's very dramatic. You will have a hysterectomy to not have kids. Like, that's how much you would avoid not having another kid.
Yeah, and then if I feel like, okay, if I have my hysterectomy and I feel like I want another kid, you can just adopt another child.
100%.
It's not that big of a
There are
deal.
so many other ways to do it. You don't have to just do it the conventional
it's
giving
not that big
birth
of
to
a
a
deal.
biological child way.
Yeah. But I've seen some ladies on TikTok that had a hysterectomy. It's not a fun time, so.
Yeah, my mom had a hysterectomy.
Oh, really?
Because she had to. It was, I don't know. I was very young. You know when you just don't care when you're young because you're so self-centered back in high school. But yeah, talking about kids. So you posted something very interesting on Instagram the other day, which we discussed briefly, about how racist and prejudice ideas are sort of passed on due to kids of certain races not having brown friends. Okay, so white kids not having any brown friends. And I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Like, it's a really interesting topic that I've actually never thought about, but it's still a thing that we see. We were in private school and it was very segregated at the time, in that the black girls were friends with black girls and the white girls were friends with white girls, you know?
Yes.
So
like the one mixed child who at the time didn't know she was mixed.
Yes.
She was ostracized. And we adopted her.
It's crazy. You know, like, because we matriculated in 2010. So that's pretty late later on, you know. I can imagine in the late 90s, sure, but not then. And now it's still happening, as we see.
Yeah. And the year after we matriculated, had their first black haired girl. In all the 100 and something years that they were.
That's crazy.
But I see now there's more.
Yeah, I think they have to, though.
They've had many more.
You can't
head of chapel and that are black. So yeah, with regards to that, is like I noticed just from being alive, I guess, that white people, like let's say our peers, that have children with another white person, so both parents are white, don't socialize their kids with black or brown children.
Yes.
And so those kids grow up to only see black people as existing solely for their benefit, solely to be of service to them, because they interact with black people only through the ground staff in their home, only through the domestic help in their home, only through the cashier at Checkers or Woolworths. Never mind, they don't shop at Checkers, at Woolworths. So how can you expect that, you know, especially in the early years, right? Because, I don't know, I'm guessing the kids are not going to creche immediately after they're born, right? Yeah. So how do you expect that your white child is going to interact with my black child?
Yeah.
You know, how they're going to be like, this is the helps child.
Exactly.
Because if they imagine my child's mother, me, if they imagine me, they're thinking she's the help.
Yeah.
And not that there's anything wrong with being the help, but it's just the way that they view the help.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. Like, okay, if you don't have access to black and brown people, which is ridiculous. We live in South Africa. Be for real.
Yeah.
Read books to your kids that show different children, you know, children of different races, that show children with different abilities or disabilities.
Exactly.
Don't just socialize them with whiteness all around, you know? And then I was waiting for a white person to come in my DMs and say, oh, but do you buy white dolls for your kid? Do you buy... My response, nobody did that, thankfully. But my response would have been, there is no need to do that because whiteness just is everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, you look up at a billboard, there's a white person.
Yeah.
You know, you switch on the television and the news reporter is white.
Exactly.
So there's no need to fight for representation of white people because they're very well represented.
And it's not like the white person will be the help, you know? So it's not like Zion is seeing the white kids at school as a person or people that serve him because there is no one serving him
that white.
Looks white or is white. So, no, it's a really, really interesting topic.
Even the parents themselves, they don't have black friends.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You know, so yes, the children might interact with the help, but then also interact with mom's black friend. But there's they don't have black friends. They don't have brown friends.
It's true. I see so many mommy clubs in like Craig Hall that are just white.
All the mommy clubs that I see on my class, just
Or there's one if it's a black friend, then they're the one black parent. And it's crazy because I'm just like, guys, in this day and age, surely not. But Regine just got appointed their first black headmistress.
Oh yes, I saw that. It's a friend's friend.
Oh really?
Yeah,
amazing. I was so impressed.
I was also like, wow, this is incredible.
It was
because she posted it on her WhatsApp status.
Amazing.
And I was like, wow, this is
and it's someone from outside. She's new.
She's not Rodine alumni.
She's not Rodine alumni, no. So I think that's good to have like different perspectives. I think for me, when I think of Rodine, I think the things that bother me are some of the traditions that are falling away, but like because I'm just sometimes quite a staunch believer in those traditions having like created discipline in me. And so I know they're not really keen on calling their teachers madam and sir, which does sound super archaic, but like
what do they call them now?
Ma'am or Mrs. whoever. But like we used to call our teachers madam.
Okay, no, that's wrong. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
But it was like a tradition. It just
rooted in what?
Yeah, but rooted in
In what? Racism and slavery. Yeah, no.
Girl. I know, and I know it sounds so bizarre for me to say this. But I think maybe that's the whitewashing.
Yeah.
The brainwashing.
Ma'am and sir is fine. Madam.
Ma'am and sir is fine.
I mean, I saw a chat online about this person that is like decolonizing their vocabulary. So like in their house, the main bedroom, they don't call it the master bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Which makes sense.
I love that. Yeah.
Because who's the master? It's just the main bedroom. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So I've adopted a bit of that language as well. Like,
just more like gender neutral, less
things that are like rooted in, you know, I don't like the misogynist. So like, if I hear anyone saying, what is your body count? I might blow up in flames.
Wow.
You know?
Do people still ask that question?
Yes, that guy asked me that question.
That's crazy.
And then he got upset when I said that question is rooted in misogyny. He lost it.
I feel like that's a question that a teenager would ask.
That's what I said. I said, oh, disrespect me in my home. I have a kid. I'm somebody's mother. You're going to ask me, what is my body count? Be for real.
It's crazy.
Be for real. Like,
also, what does it matter?
I told him 80. Then he got even more pissed. Because how would you know? Yeah, how would you know if I'm lying? Like, why would you ask me that? I could say 100
number or a very high number, and it could be a lie.
Yeah. So like things like that. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm like too woke.
No, I think it's really good. I think it's really good, and I think that sometimes we have to be too woke to be able to make a bit of a difference, to make even the slightest of differences. Do you know what I mean? Because being moderate isn't really helping.
Yeah, being moderate is just being passive. Let's be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't like that. People also
Yeah.
weren't happy that I was telling my child why we have a public holiday on the 21st of March.
What? Really?
Yeah. I'm like,
With this?
he's too young. No, he's not too young.
He
Can I
needs
tell
to
you
know.
something? When a white person looks at my child, they don't think he's too young. They see that he's black. That's what they see. So I have to tell him that, my guy, back in the day, in your grandmother's day, this is what was happening. You know?
For sure.
Because we can't whitewash history. That's what happened. If y'all didn't want us to talk about it, why did you do it?
Why did you do it?
Yeah.
Exactly. I think, like, you know, because I went through that radical stage in like 2016, 2017 when I was...
Was that Feast Must Fall vibes?
Yes.
Okay, yep.
So I went through a radical stage where I was a student journalist and I had just sort of popped my little private school bubble and realized that there's life outside of it. And I became so radical. I remember I got an email.
From who?
From anonymous.
Okay.
But it wasn't to me. It was to the news editor at
But talking about you.
Talking about me and my political views on my Facebook. And that I was prejudiced or racist towards white people.
You can't be racist towards white people.
And it was a very long email. And I had friends who would ask me, obviously because I grew up with a lot of white friends, so
Yes, yeah.
No, that's so important, my dear. And you're going to be such an amazing lawyer. And I'm going to be such an amazing social worker. Let me just speak it out to the world. Then everyone holds me accountable. But even if I'm just still a journalist, we will still work together beautifully to save the world and make it a better place. That is the goal. The ultimate goal is to make a difference, you know. And I believe that already I feel like you're doing that so much on your platform because you're so unafraid.
The thing is, today I was thinking about it because, you know, yesterday, I don't know if you've been on Instagram between like yesterday and right now. I was talking about how being on the show, the people that were meant to, the people who were meant to protect my mental health didn't do their job.
Yeah.
Right. And I spoke about they allowed this person to give me the silent treatment, which is emotional abuse. And when I spoke up about it, I was called all sorts of things. You're being emotional. You are illogical. You need to stop crying. One of the therapists even went as far as saying, during conflict, you can't cry in the conflict. You must save your tears for later. Because I'm a vampire and I can switch my feelings on and off. So when I was talking about this, just on your point of like how I'm vocal on my platform, I just thought to myself, like, this is why I don't get a lot of work as an influencer.
Because they think that they can't control you, essentially, or can't control what you say.
Not necessarily because they can't control what I say, but because like, she's, you know, I will say something if, I don't know, one of the contractual terms is like,
yeah, sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Or if, I don't know, something.
Okay, you're not going to just sign without like reading over and
yes, but also even as the brand that hasn't hired me yet, if they go onto my page and see that I'm saying that white people, why your kids ain't got no black friends? I'm saying that XYZ production company, you let people's mental health get run over by a bus. They're going to be like, okay, maybe we shouldn't hire her because what if we, you know,
get some backlash,
step on her toes in some other way, and then she's going to come back later and say, and that's the thing about influencing is like, I think you have to be a certain type of person to be the influencer that gets all the gigs. So you sort of just have to be like the pretty doll, you know. Like a lot of people give me backlash for the way that I wear my hair. And I've spoken about that at length on my page. Sure. Like, why are you mad about how my hair grows out my head? Like, that's weird. Weird. You're not mad that the red-haired white girl's hair is coming out of her head red.
Yeah, exactly.
So why are you mad that my hair's coming out the way that comes on my head? There's nothing I can do about it. You know, so I don't know. You just got to, the way that I see it, like, you just got to be like this, just like what did they used to say to children? Children should be seen and not heard. Yes.
Seen and not heard.
Yeah.
But I think it reminds me of like, I remember when people had a lot of backlash for Taylor Swift, for example, who didn't speak on political things at all. It's like the same thing, because if she came with her political viewpoints, she would, like, maybe her thinking was that she'd lose a big fan base or whatever.
She would lose like endorsements.
It's like, but you have such a big platform, why won't you use it? But it makes sense. Like, there's so many things that could be lost. But I think that it's brave to speak out despite the fear of not having potential brands.
But also, like, my stance, right, is that I can't, like, my integrity is not for sale. If it means that you're not going to partner up with me as an influencer because I will speak out on, I don't know, like the little girl, the 7-year-old that was allegedly raped or blah, blah, blah. Like, then you're not a brand that I want 100%. To work with.
Yeah, then we're not compatible.
Yes, we're not compatible anyways. So it's a weird space to be in.
But I'm so proud of you for having that stance and for not selling out and just being yourself, because I think that does way more than just being an influencer who partners with brands just because.
That they don't even use.
That they don't even use. Actually, like someone on I'm on a part of a media plugs group, and they sent something about how brands are now using real customers more than influencers these days, because like people are catching on to the fact that these influencers don't even use the product. Like it can come across as very inauthentic, as opposed to using an actual customer and like giving them, I don't know, like tickets to a concert or whatever it might be, because they are the real deal. They use the brand because they love the brand, you know, versus like an influencer who just gets paid and like
is using the brand just for that campaign or that reel or whatever.
Exactly. And people are more likely to trust a customer who has actually used the brand than just ads, because you know it's an ad. You're like, oh, this is an ad. But if you tell me that you use a brand, I'm gonna take that as like, okay, shit, maybe I should try this thing, you know? And I think that's cool. I think that's the way we should be moving, is like real people. Influencers obviously have their place, but like, let's use real people to support brands.
Yeah, but you know, I'm not like, sorry, I'm not raining on the parade of the influencers.
Yeah,
you know, because I feel like the influencer space is also very like woman-led, you know?
Sure, yeah,
like,
that's a good
I'm
thing.
not dating a man that's an influencer. Fuck that shit. You know? Like, get a real job. Go to war. Go to war, go on a ship, go get lost at sea, something.
Real experiences.
But like, yes, like the influencer space is for the girls and the gays and the theys. That's so. Yeah, I'm not shitting on people's hustle.
No. Yeah,
but
100%.
I just feel like we also have to be like mindful and not just sell people things for the sake of selling people things. Like, hey, buy this toothpaste, but that's not the toothpaste you were using, or maybe if you used it, you didn't even like it.
Yeah,
you know,
100%. But you need to teach me your ways, because I'm so bad. The only thing I know how to use is Instagram, and I don't even know how to use it well. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm just like...
That's such a millennial thing to say.
I don't even know how to use it well. All I do is like scroll on Reels, post on my story, but like to actually use it as a platform is beyond me.
I think it's going to take a lot of like...
unlearning.
Yeah, you're overthinking too much.
TikTok, do you know how often I check my TikTok? Once a month. I'll be like, oh, okay, I have about like 20 notifications. Let me check
Not 20 in the month.
20
I'll be like sending you TikToks
I
and
don't
I'm
even
like...
think I've opened them. I actually should. I'll do that today. I'll open them and I'll probably would relate more to TikTok content once I get my algorithm right. I think that's the work that I need to put in, is getting my algorithm to a place where I'm like scrolling for hours, even though I don't want to be doom scrolling, but like that's what I do on Instagram. And then
it's not an enjoyable experience.
It's not even like, I don't even find that much that I relate to. It's usually the first 2 reels, and then I'm like, oh, whatever, not funny. Like, haven't even watched the whole thing. Send to a friend. So yeah, you and Tony, shout out to Tony, by the way, who plugged us. And he's just an amazing person. I hope she watches this. But you and Tony are inspirations.
I think she's got TikTok down.
She really does. Yeah. She needs to actually, like, host workshops and get paid for it.
Yeah,
I would take it.
I would too, even though I'm not
an addict,
but I would, just because I like her.
No, just the TikTok, just like how to use TikTok.
Oh.
Like just a TikTok
I would take it
workshop.
You could always learn from other people, because I'm sure we use TikTok differently. The way that I use TikTok versus how she uses it.
That's true.
Yeah.
You could also do one.
No.
I tried everyone. For my own selfish gains, I tried to get her to do a TikTok workshop. Well, no, I know that was amazing. I don't think it. I mean, I think we're done. So, yeah, just tell the people where they can find you.
Okay, on Instagram, it's at D-E-E Seturumane, Seturumane. On TikTok, it's D's Video Diary. On YouTube, D Seturumane. That's it.
And they will be in the description as well for anyone who would like to give her a follow. I highly recommend it. There will not be one dull moment following this woman anyway, I promise. And you can find me at Tendzi Mulaudzi, Mulaudzi. I'll also put it, I only use Instagram, as we have discussed. But I'm going to start using TikTok, but I'll put all the things, all the handles in the description. And thank you so much for coming. It was lovely to catch up over a podcast.
Yes.
And yeah, join us for the next For the Aesthetic. Thank you.